My son thought he'd locked me away and taken my money. He thought the old man was finished, broken, too weak to fight back. He forgot one thing. The old man he underestimated. I spent 40 years reading contracts, 40 years negotiating deals, 40 years learning that the pen is always, always more powerful than the fist. See, my son wanted my retirement so badly he was willing to throw me away to get it, strip me of my dignity, lock me in a room that smelled like death and disinfectant, all for a house and a bank account. So I made a decision that's kept me up at night, a decision that's cost me more than money ever could, but a decision I'd make again in a heartbeat. If he wanted my retirement so badly, I decided to retire him. From my life, from my will, from every single thing I'd spent a lifetime building. This isn't a story about an old man getting even. This is a story about an old man getting justice. And let me tell you something. When you've been betrayed by your own flesh and blood, justice tastes a hell of a lot sweeter than revenge. But before I tell you exactly how I turned the tables on my own son, how I took back everything he tried to steal, make sure you're subscribed to Ruthless Retribution. Hit that button right now. And tell me in the comments what time it is where you're watching from. I want to know who's out there listening to this old man's story. All right, let's go back to the beginning. It was a Thursday afternoon in late September when everything changed. I remember because Thursdays used to be special. That was the day Sarah, my late wife, used to make her pot roast. Been gone 6 years now, but I still think about those Thursdays. I was coming home from rehab, not the kind you're thinking of, the medical kind. 3 weeks in a rehabilitation center after hip surgery. A bad fall in my own damn house had left me with a fractured hip, and at 72, they don't heal like they used to. The surgery went fine. Recovery was hell, but I did it. Followed every instruction those physical therapists gave me. Walked those parallel bars until my legs shook. Did those exercises in that sterile gym with the motivational posters that were supposed to make you feel better about getting old. But I was coming home. Finally, I'd spent those 3 weeks planning this homecoming. Not in a sad way, in an excited way. See, I had gifts, small things I'd ordered online and had delivered to the rehab center. A puzzle for my grandson, Marcus, 9 years old, loved dinosaurs. A little toy truck for Emma, she was 6, obsessed with construction vehicles. Some fancy chocolates for my son, David's wife, Jennifer. Trying to build bridges, We'd had our tensions over the years, but I was trying. And I had a folder, a manila folder with bank statements, property documents, investment portfolios. I'd been organizing my affairs during those long, boring rehab days. I wanted to talk to David about adding him to one of my accounts, maybe help with a down payment on a bigger house. The kids were growing. They needed space. I know what you're thinking. Stupid old man. Should have seen it coming. You're right. The facility van dropped me off at 2:30 in the afternoon. Beautiful day. Sun was shining. One of those perfect autumn days where the air is crisp, but the sun keeps you warm. Leaves were just starting to turn. My neighborhood looked like a postcard. I had my keys in my hand. The same keys I'd carried for 23 years since Sarah and I bought that house. The same house where we raised David, and the same house where we hosted every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every birthday party. I'd called David that morning to tell him I was coming home. He'd sounded distracted, said he was busy at work. I told him that was fine. I didn't need a welcome party. I'd just see him and the family over the weekend. The van driver helped me with my bag. Just one bag. I traveled light. He made sure I could walk up the 3 steps to my front door. I tipped him $20. Nice kid. Probably someone's grandson. I stood at my front door for a moment, just breathing, just feeling grateful. Grateful to be home, grateful to be alive, grateful for another chance. I put the key in the lock. That's when I noticed something. The key turned too easily, like the lock had been changed. Different resistance, different feel. When you've unlocked the same door for 23 years, you know how it's supposed to feel. But it opened, so I pushed it open. The first thing that hit me was the smell. Not my smell. My house has always smelled like coffee and old books. Sarah used to burn vanilla candles. Even after she died, I kept buying them. Kept that smell alive. This wasn't that smell. This smelled like someone else's cooking, someone else's cleaning products, someone else's life. I stepped inside. The entryway looked wrong. The little table where we kept the mail, where Sarah's favorite vase always sat, it was gone. In its place was a modern console table I'd never seen before. Clean lines, expensive looking, not my style. The family photos on the wall, gone, or not gone, but different, rearranged. The big portrait of Sarah and me on our 30th anniversary, the one that used to be center stage, it was moved to the corner, barely visible. In its place were new family photos. David, Jennifer, the kids, photos I'd never seen before, professional ones, like they'd had a whole photo shoot done without me. My chest got tight, that feeling you get when something's wrong but your brain hasn't caught up yet, when your body knows before your mind does. I walked further in, through the living room. My recliner was gone, the one I'd had for 15 years. The one Sarah bought me for my birthday, with the perfect lumbar support. Gone, replaced with some modern love seat that looked like it belonged in a furniture showroom. The TV was bigger, newer, mounted on the wall with that fancy setup. My books. The bookshelf that used to line the entire west wall filled with my collection of military history and biographies. It was half empty. The books that remained were pushed to one side. The other half had Jennifer's decorative bullshit, fake plants, ceramic bowls, framed quotes about family and love. The irony of that last one wasn't lost on me later. I called out, "Hello? David? Jennifer?" No answer. I walked toward the bedrooms. My bedroom, the master bedroom Sarah and I shared for 26 years until she died in that very bed peacefully in her sleep, the way everyone hopes to go. The door was closed. That was wrong. I never closed that door. I reached for the handle, turned it. It was locked. My own bedroom in my own house. I stood there for a full minute, just staring at that locked door, trying to make sense of it. Maybe they'd been storing something in there. Maybe they'd been doing some cleaning and didn't want me to trip on supplies. I tried the key, had a spare bedroom key on my key ring. It didn't work. They'd changed this lock too. That's when I heard it. A voice from inside, a man's voice, not David's, older, gruffer. "Jennifer, can you get me another beer? Game's about to start." I knocked hard. "Hey, this is my bedroom. Who the hell's in there?" Silence, then shuffling. The door opened a crack. A man I'd never seen before, late 60s, balding, beer gut, wearing a stained white t-shirt. "Who are you?" I demanded. He looked me up and down, confused, annoyed. "I'm Bill, Jennifer's father." "Who are you?" "Jennifer's father. In my bedroom, in my house. I'm the man who owns this house," I said. My voice was shaking. Anger, confusion, disbelief. "Where's David?" "Oh." Bill's expression changed. Something like pity or embarrassment. "You're David's dad? They didn't tell you?" "Tell me what?" He opened the door wider. My bedroom, completely redecorated. The bed Sarah and I shared, gone. Replaced with some leather sectional and a massive TV. My dresser, gone. The photos of Sarah, gone. It looked like a man cave. Someone else's man cave in my bedroom. "They're letting me stay here for a while," Bill said. "Wife kicked me out. David said it was fine, said there was extra space. Extra space in my house. In my bedroom. Where's my stuff?" My voice came out as a whisper. Bill shrugged. "I don't know, man. I just moved in last week. They said the room was available." I backed away, turned around. My heart was racing. Hip was aching. I could feel the panic rising. I went to the second bedroom, David's old room, the one I'd kept as a guest room with Sarah's sewing supplies and some of my overflow books. Opened the door. Boxes, stacked boxes, labeled with my name. Dad's clothes, Dad's books, Dad's personal items, Dad's office supplies, not stored away somewhere, just here, piled in this room like garbage waiting to go to the dump. I opened one, my clothes, wrinkled, thrown in without care. I pulled out a shirt. The blue one Sarah bought me for our last anniversary, wrinkled, smelling like mildew. And that's when I heard the front door open. "Dad?" David's voice. Casual, like nothing was wrong. I walked back to the living room, slowly. Each step hurt, not just my hip. David stood there, 38 years old. My son, wearing his work clothes, dress shirt, nice slacks. He looked successful, looked like he had it all together. He looked at me. No smile, no welcome home, just that look. The look you give someone when they're a problem you have to deal with. "Dad, what are you doing here?" What am I doing here? In my own house? "I live here, David. I came home from rehab." He sighed. Actually sighed, like I was an inconvenience. "Dad, we need to talk. Come sit down." He gestured to the couch. Not my recliner, the couch, like I was a guest. I didn't sit. I stood there, waiting. "Dad, Jennifer and I have been talking, and we think, well, we know it's not safe for you to live alone anymore. I've been living alone for 6 years, since your mother died. And look what happened. You fell. You broke your hip. What if you'd been alone? What if nobody found you? I had my medical alert. The paramedics came in 20 minutes. That's not the point, Dad. You're getting older. You need supervision. Care. Supervision, like I was a child. I'm fine, I said. The doctors cleared me. I can walk. I can take care of myself. Dad, he said it in that tone, that patient, condescending tone. We've already made arrangements. We found a really nice assisted living facility, Oak Grove Senior Community. It's only 40 minutes away. 40 minutes, not even in the same town. I don't need assisted living. I need my home. This home is too much for you now. Too many stairs. Too much to maintain. Jennifer and I, we've decided to move in here. The kids need more space. It makes more sense. Makes more sense. I repeated his words, trying to process. You're taking my house. We're not taking anything, Dad. We're trying to help you. And honestly, you're not using all this space. It's wasteful. I own this house, David. I know, and we'll handle all the expenses. Property tax, maintenance, everything. You won't have to worry about any of it. You can just relax at Oak Grove. I don't want to relax at Oak Grove. I want to stay in my home. Jennifer walked in then, carrying grocery bags. She saw me and froze, just for a second. Then that fake smile. "Oh, you're home early. We were going to come pick you up this weekend." This weekend. They were going to wait until the weekend to tell me I'd been evicted from my own life. "Jennifer," I said, "your father is sleeping in my bedroom." "Oh, yes." She set down the bags, smoothed her hair. Dad needed a place to stay temporarily. We have the space now, so it worked out. Space. My space. Where am I supposed to sleep? They looked at each other. That look, that couple look, that unified front. "We set up a bed for you in the office," David said. "But honestly, Dad, we really think Oak Grove is the better option. We drove out there last week. It's beautiful. They have activities, meals included. You'd have people your own age to talk to." People my own age. Like I was so old, I couldn't relate to my own family anymore. I don't want activities. I want my home. "Dad." David's voice got harder. "Be reasonable. You can't take care of this place anymore. And frankly, Jennifer and I can't keep driving over here to check on you, handle your bills, make sure you're eating. We have our own lives, our own kids. I never asked you to check on me. You didn't have to ask. We're responsible for you now." Responsible, like I was their burden. "Show me this office," I said quietly. David led me down the hall, past my old bedroom, past the boxes, to the smallest room in the house, the one I'd used as a home office. It was barely 10 by 10. They'd put a twin bed in there, the kind you buy at Walmart. Metal frame, thin mattress, one pillow. It was pushed against the wall under the window. My desk was gone. My computer, my papers, all of it. Boxed up with everything else? Probably. There was a TV tray set up as a nightstand. One lamp, it looked like a prison cell. See? All set up for you, Jennifer said from behind me. Still that fake, cheerful voice. We even got you new sheets. That blue you like. They weren't the blue I liked. They were royal blue, cheap polyester. The blue I liked was navy, Egyptian cotton. The sheets Sarah had picked out. Where's my furniture? My desk? My computer? Boxed up with your other things, David said. In the guest room? You don't need all that stuff anymore. Oak Grove has computers you can use in their common area. Their common area? Not my home office. I turned to face him, looked him in the eye. When did you plan to tell me about all this? We were going to discuss it with you this weekend. Let you get settled, then have a family meeting. A family meeting about my life in my house without consulting me first. Dad, you're being dramatic. We're doing what's best for you. What's best for me? Without asking me what I wanted, that's when I saw it. On the kitchen counter, I could see it from the hallway. A folder, thick, official looking. I walked past them, went straight to the kitchen, opened the folder. Oak Grove Senior. Community, contract, deposit paid, move-in date scheduled for the following Monday, 5 days away. They'd already signed me up, already paid the deposit. With my money from my account, I flipped through. Power of attorney papers, medical proxy forms, emergency contact sheets, all signed David's signature and mine, except I'd never signed these papers. I looked up at David. He'd followed me into the kitchen. He saw me looking at the documents. When did I sign these? At the rehab center. Last week. You don't remember? The nurse brought them to you. I remembered a nurse bringing me papers. Told me they were discharge forms. Insurance papers. I'd been groggy from pain medication. Signed where she pointed. These aren't discharge forms. Dad, the nurse explained everything. You were just confused. I was medicated. You were coherent enough to sign. You tricked me. We did what was necessary for your own good. I closed the folder, carefully kept my hands from shaking. I want you out of my house. Dad, get out. This is my house. My name is on the deed. Get out. David's face changed. Anger now. No more pretense of patience. You're not thinking clearly. You're confused, disoriented from the medication and the surgery. That's exactly why you need supervised care. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. You stole my house. You forged my signature. You threw away my life like garbage. Now get out. We're not going anywhere, Jennifer said. Her voice wasn't fake sweet anymore. It was cold. We've already moved in, changed the locks. The kids start at their new school next week. We're not uprooting our entire family because you're having a tantrum. A tantrum. I'm being thrown out of my own home and I'm having a tantrum. Then I'll call the police. David smiled. Not a happy smile, a knowing smile. Go ahead, call them. Tell them what? That your son is trying to take care of you? That we're concerned about your safety? Show them those power of attorney papers you signed. Show them how confused you are. He was right. In that moment, he was right. I'd signed the papers. I couldn't prove they tricked me. My word against theirs. A confused old man against his caring son. You have until Monday, David said. We'll take you to Oak Grove, get you settled. Once you're there for a few weeks, you'll see this was the right decision. You'll thank us. I will never thank you for this. We'll see. He walked away. Jennifer followed. I heard them in the bedroom, their bedroom now. My bedroom, talking in low voices, probably about me, about the difficult old man they had to manage. I stood in that kitchen, my kitchen, where Sarah taught David to make scrambled eggs, where we'd had 1,000 meals together, 1,000 conversations, and I felt something I'd never felt before. I felt utterly, completely alone. They drove me to Oak Grove Senior Community on Monday morning. David came to pick me up at 8 a.m. I'd spent a week sleeping on that thin twin mattress, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what to do. A week of waking up in that tiny room, a week of eating meals at my own kitchen table while they talked around me like I wasn't there. A week of Marcus and Emma asking why Grandpa was sleeping in the office. A week of watching my own life disappear piece by piece. I'd called 2 lawyers over the weekend, left messages, explained my situation. They hadn't called back yet. Old man problems aren't urgent to anyone but old men. Jennifer packed my things that Monday morning, 2 suitcases. That's what my life had been reduced to. 2 suitcases of clothes, a few photos, my medication. I asked for my folder, the manila folder with my financial documents. David said it was boxed up with the rest of my things in the guest room, said I wouldn't need it at Oak Grove, said they'd handle all my finances now. The drive was silent. I sat in the back seat like a child. Marcus and Emma were at school. They hadn't even said goodbye. Oak Grove Senior Community was exactly what you'd imagine, a sprawling one-story building trying to look cheerful with its beige siding and burgundy shutters. A manicured lawn, a sign out front with changeable letters that said, "Welcome home," but it wasn't home. David checked me in at the front desk, chatted with the director, a woman named Patricia with helmet hair and a smile that never reached her eyes. She kept calling me dear and sweetie. I'm 72, not senile. My room was number 147, down a long hallway that smelled like industrial cleaner, trying to cover up the smell of old age and decline, past the common room where people in wheelchairs sat watching a TV mounted too high on the wall, past the dining hall where lunch was being set up. Institutional food. Could smell it already. Room 147 was small, very small. A bed, a dresser, a tiny bathroom, a window that looked out onto the parking lot. There was another patient's name on the door next to mine, Walter something. I could hear him coughing through the wall. "Isn't this nice?" Patricia chirped. "You have your own bathroom, your own TV, and meals are included 3 times a day." "Where do I keep my things?" I asked. "In the dresser, dear. And there's a small closet." I looked. The closet was about 2 feet wide. The dresser had 4 drawers. My entire life, 4 drawers. David set down my suitcases, looked uncomfortable. Good. He should be uncomfortable. "Okay, Dad, I've got to get back to work, but I'll visit this weekend, okay?" "Sure," I said. What else was I going to say? "Patricia will take good care of you. And there's a nurse on duty 24/7. If you need anything, just press the call button." The call button. Like I was an invalid. He left. Didn't hug me. Didn't say he loved me. Just left. Patricia stayed for a few more minutes, explaining the schedule. Breakfast at 7, lunch at noon, dinner at 5, activities at 2, lights out at 9, lights out. Like I was a child with a bedtime. After she left, I sat on the bed. It was hard. Mattress had no give. I looked around this room that was supposed to be my home now. The walls were blank. Institutional white. There was a cork board where you could pin photos. I didn't have any photos. They were still boxed up in David's house. My house. I opened my suitcase, started unpacking. My clothes looked wrong, hanging in that tiny closet, out of place. I found my wallet, pulled out my debit card to put it in the dresser drawer. That's when I noticed the card looked different. I checked the name, David Mitchell, not Paul Mitchell. Paul's my name. This was David's card. He'd switched them. Taken my card, given me his old one. I tried to use my phone to check my bank account. Password didn't work. He'd changed it. I sat back down on the bed. The reality of it hitting me in waves. I couldn't access my money. I couldn't leave, not really. Where would I go? I had no car here, no one to call. I'd been effectively imprisoned. That first night was the longest of my life. Dinner was served at 5. Salisbury steak that tasted like cardboard, instant mashed potatoes, canned green beans. I ate in the dining hall with 40 other residents. Most were older than me, some were lost in dementia, others just looked defeated. A woman tried to talk to me. Betty. She'd been there 3 years, her daughter put her there. Said she seemed cheerful enough, but I could see it in her eyes, that same look I probably had, resignation. I went back to my room at 6. Lights didn't go out until 9, but what was I going to do? Watch TV in the common room, play bingo? I laid on that hard bed and stared at the ceiling. Listened to Walter coughing next door. Listened to the nurse making her rounds, checking on people, speaking in that loud, slow voice people use with the elderly. And I thought about David, my son, the boy I taught to ride a bike, the kid I stayed up with when he had nightmares, the teenager I helped with homework, the young man I gave my savings to so he could start his business. How had it come to this? Around midnight, when I finally started to drift off, I heard someone crying, soft, muffled, coming from somewhere down the hall. I realized it was me. I spent the first 3 days at Oak Grove in a fog, depression, probably grief, going through the motions, eating the bland food, sitting in my room, avoiding the activities that Patricia kept cheerfully suggesting. But on Thursday, something shifted. I was in the common room, not by choice. They'd had a mandatory orientation meeting. Patricia explaining the facility rules, the schedule, the emergency procedures, like we were all children starting school. After the meeting, I stayed sitting there, too tired to walk back to my room. An old TV was playing the news. I wasn't really watching. Then I heard my name, Mitchell, Paul Mitchell. I turned. An older man, probably early 80s, using a walker. He was squinting at me. "Do I know you?" I asked. "Tom Hendricks, we worked together. Back in the 80s, I was in accounting. You were in legal." It clicked. Tom. Young guy back then. Sharp. Good with numbers. Tom. "Yeah, I remember." "How are you?" He laughed. Bitter sound. "Living the dream, apparently. My son put me here 6 months ago." "Your son?" "Yeah. Told me I couldn't handle my finances anymore, that I was getting scammed. Had me sign some papers at the hospital after my bypass surgery. Next thing I know, he's got power of attorney, control of my accounts, and I'm here." The story sounded familiar. He visits. First month every week. Now, maybe once a month. He's busy, important job, important life. We sat in silence for a minute. "You know what the kicker is?" Tom said. "I found out last month he's been pulling money from my accounts. Found out from another resident whose daughter works at my old bank. Saw the transactions, $50,000 in 6 months. Just gone." "What did you do?" "What can I do? I signed over power of attorney. He's not technically stealing. He's managing my money. Just managing it right into his own pockets. That's theft. Try proving it. Try getting a lawyer to take your case when you're an old man living in a care facility who signed all the paperwork. They just think you're confused, bitter, ungrateful." He shuffled away with his walker. Left me sitting there. That conversation stuck with me. Rolled around in my head for the rest of the day. That night, I couldn't sleep again. But this time, instead of just lying there, I started thinking. Really thinking. David had power of attorney, medical proxy, access to my accounts. But what did he actually control? The house. Except the house was still in my name. Only my name. Sarah and I had bought it together, but after she died, I'd had it transferred to just my name. Simple probate, the bank accounts. But which ones? I had multiple accounts. The main checking account, yes, David was on that as a co-signer. I'd added him years ago for emergencies. But the savings account, the investment accounts, I tried to remember. Tried to think through the fog of medication and betrayal. The savings account. I'd opened that one 15 years ago. High yield account. Never added David. It was my emergency fund. Had about $80,000 in it last I checked. The investment account, my 401k rollover, that was definitely just in my name. Financial advisor's rules had to be the life insurance policy. Sarah's life insurance had come to me. I'd put it in a separate account, earmarked for the grandkids' college funds. That account was in my name only. I was sure of it. And the house. That was all mine. I sat up in bed, heart racing, not from panic this time, from something else, possibility. They could control where I slept for now, but they couldn't control what I owned. Not yet. The papers I'd signed under sedation gave David power of attorney, medical proxy. But did they give him ownership? Did they transfer the deed? I had to know. The next morning, Friday, I waited until after breakfast, asked to speak with Patricia. I need to see the paperwork I signed when I was admitted. Oh, sweetie, all that's filed away. Is something wrong? I just want to review what I signed. She hesitated. Well, those papers were signed by your son, dear. He has your power of attorney. All the financial arrangements go through him. I understand, but I'd still like to see my intake forms. 20 minutes later, she brought me a folder, sat with me while I reviewed it. The intake forms, contact information. Listed as primary contact, emergency contact, financial guarantor, medical history forms. And there. The power of attorney document I'd signed at the rehab center. I read it carefully, every word. It was a general, durable power of attorney. Gave David authority to make healthcare decisions, to manage my finances, to access my accounts, but it didn't transfer ownership. It didn't give him title to my assets. It gave him management authority, not ownership. I wasn't a lawyer, but I'd worked around lawyers for 40 years. I knew the difference. Can I get a copy of this? I asked Patricia. I'll have to check with David, dear, since he's your representative. I'm requesting a copy of my own legal documents. You don't need his permission for that. She looked uncomfortable, but agreed, said she'd have copies made. After she left, I sat in my room with those papers. David could spend my money, but he didn't own my money, not legally. He was living in my house, but he didn't own my house. Not legally, which meant everything he was doing, everything he'd taken, was built on sand. On my signature, on documents I'd been tricked into signing, on the assumption that I was too old, too confused, too defeated to fight back. But he'd forgotten something. I'd spent 40 years in legal negotiations, 40 years reading contracts, finding loopholes, protecting assets, and I just found my way out. That Friday afternoon, after I got my copies from Patricia, I made my first move. I called my bank, not the branch where David probably knew all the tellers, the main customer service line, the one where you talk to someone in a call center 3 states away who doesn't know your family drama. I need to verify the accounts under my name, I told the woman on the phone. Her name was Crystal. She sounded young, patient. She asked for my social security number, date of birth, mother's maiden name, all the security questions, and then she pulled up my accounts. I show 3 accounts under your name, Mr. Mitchell, a checking account ending in 4782, a savings account ending in 9213, and an investment account ending in 6655. My heart was racing. Can you tell me who has access to these accounts? Typing sounds. The checking account has 2 authorized users, you and David Mitchell, added in 2019. The savings account only has you. The investment account only has you. And the balances? More typing. I can't give specific balances over the phone without proper verification, but I can tell you the checking account has under $5,000. The savings account has approximately $82,000. The investment account, I'd need to transfer you to our investment division. Under $5,000 in checking. I'd had $20,000 in that account when I went into rehab. David had drained it, $15,000. Gone. Can you tell me the recent transaction history on the checking account? I can see the last 5 transactions. September 15th, withdrawal of $3,000. September 18th, withdrawal of $2,000. September 22nd, withdrawal of $4,000. September 25th, withdrawal of $3,000. September 28th, withdrawal of $3,000. I wrote it all down on a notepad I'd borrowed from Patricia's office. $15,000, every penny documented. And who made these withdrawals? They were all ATM withdrawals using the secondary card, David Mitchell's card. There it was, evidence, clear, documented. I need to remove David Mitchell's access to that checking account. I can help with that, but you'll need to come into a branch with valid ID, or we can mail you the forms. How long will the forms take? 7 to 10 business days for standard mail. Too long. David would drain the rest before then. What if I come into a branch? We can process it immediately if you have 2 forms of ID. I'll be there Monday. I hung up, sat on my bed, stared at those numbers, $15,000 stolen by my own son. And that was just the checking account. What else had he taken? What else was he planning to take? I needed more information, more proof. I called my accountant next, Howard Bergen. I'd used him for 30 years. Good man. Honest. Paul, how are you? I heard about the hip. You doing okay? It felt good to hear a friendly voice and someone who didn't treat me like a burden. I'm all right, Howard. Listen, I need some help. I need copies of all my financial documents, tax returns for the last 3 years, property records, investment statements, everything. Sure, of course. I can mail those to your home address. No, not my home. Can you mail them here? I gave him the Oak Grove address. Silence on the other end. Paul, are you in a nursing home? It's temporary. Does David know you're requesting these documents? David doesn't need to know everything I do, Howard. More silence, then quieter. Paul, is everything okay? I almost broke down then, almost told him everything, but I held it together. Just send me the documents, Howard, please. I'll send them out Monday. Should have them by Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you. I hung up, leaned back against the wall. My hip was aching. All this stress wasn't helping the healing process, but I couldn't stop now. Next call. At the county recorder's office. I needed to verify the house deed, make sure David hadn't somehow forged a transfer. The woman at the recorder's office was bored, monotone, but she pulled up the records. Property at 847 Maple Street is recorded under Paul James Mitchell, sole owner. Last transfer was in 2019. Looks like a survivorship deed from Sarah Ann Mitchell, deceased. No recent changes, no transfers, none recorded. The deed is clean, just your name. Relief, pure relief. Can you mail me a certified copy of the deed? Sure, $20 fee. Where should I send it? I gave her the Oak Grove address, my credit card number. Another piece of evidence, another proof of ownership. I spent the rest of that Friday making calls. My insurance agent, my financial advisor, my attorney left messages for all of them. The attorney called back Saturday morning, Robert Caldwell. He'd handled Sarah's will. Solid lawyer, old school. Paul, I got your message. What's going on? I told him everything. The rehab center, the forged signatures, the house takeover, Oak Grove, the stolen money. He listened. Didn't interrupt. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Paul, I need to be honest with you. This is elder law. It's not my specialty. I do estate planning, wills, trusts. What you need is someone who deals specifically with financial abuse, power of attorney disputes, capacity issues. My heart sank. Can you recommend someone? Let me make some calls. I know a few people. Good people. Give me until Monday. Robert, I don't have much time. David is draining my accounts. He's living in my house. I need help now. I understand. Let me see what I can do. I'll call you Monday morning. He kept his word. Monday morning, 9 a.m., my phone rang. Robert. Paul, I found someone. Her name is Margaret Chen. She's an elder law attorney, one of the best in the state. I explained your situation. She wants to meet with you. When? Today, if you can. Her office is in town, about 20 minutes from Oak Grove. Can you get there? I'll figure it out. He gave me the address. The appointment was at 2 p.m. I hung up and looked at my situation. I had no car, no way to leave. I was supposedly here for my own safety, which meant they probably wouldn't just let me walk out. But I wasn't a prisoner. Not legally. I could leave if I wanted to. I got dressed, put on my good pants, button-down shirt, needed to look competent, capable, not like some confused old man. I walked to Patricia's office, knocked. "Mr. Mitchell, what can I do for you? I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. I need to arrange transportation." She looked at her computer. "I don't see any appointments scheduled. Did David arrange this?" "It's my personal physician for a follow-up on my hip surgery. I arranged it myself." "Oh, well, usually family members coordinate medical appointments. Let me call David." "Patricia." I kept my voice firm. "I'm not incompetent. I'm not under guardianship. I have a right to see my own doctor. I need transportation." She looked uncomfortable. "I'll have to charge the ride to your account. The facility van service is $30 each way." "That's fine." She made the arrangements. Van would pick me up at 1:30. At 1:30, I was in the lobby, waiting. A different driver this time, younger guy. Didn't ask questions, just drove. Margaret Chen's office was in a small professional building. Second floor. The sign on the door said Chen and Associates, Elder Law and Estate Planning. I took the elevator up. My hip couldn't handle stairs yet. Still healing. The physical therapist at the rehab center said it would take months before I was back to normal. Months I didn't have. The waiting room was small but nice. Comfortable chairs, current magazines, a receptionist who smiled at me. Really smiled. Not that fake nursing home smile. "Mr. Mitchell, Margaret is ready for you." She led me back to an office. Corner office, windows overlooking a small park, bookshelves lined with legal texts, a desk that was organized but lived in. Photos on the credenza. Margaret with an older woman. Her mother, maybe. Margaret Chen stood up when I entered. Early 50s, sharp suit, kind eyes. She came around the desk to shake my hand. "Mr. Mitchell, please have a seat. Can I get you anything? Water? Coffee?" Water would be good. She poured me a glass from a pitcher on her desk, handed it to me, sat down across from me, not behind the desk, like we were equals, like I mattered. "Robert Caldwell told me about your situation, but I'd like to hear it from you. Start from the beginning. Take your time." So I did. I told her everything: the fall, the hip surgery, the rehab center, coming home to find my house taken over, the power of attorney papers, Oak Grove, the stolen money, the blocked access to my accounts. She took notes, asked questions, clarifying questions, not accusatory, not suggesting I was confused or misremembering. When I finished, she sat back. "Mr. Mitchell, can I call you Paul?" "Please." "Paul, I'm going to be very direct with you. What your son is doing is called financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. In this state, it's a crime. It's also grounds for civil action. The power of attorney you signed under duress. While medicated, without full disclosure, that's potentially voidable. The unauthorized withdrawals from your checking account, that's theft, even with a power of attorney. Power of attorney doesn't give someone the right to steal." Hearing her say it, hearing a lawyer, someone who knew the law, confirm what I'd been thinking, it was like oxygen. "Can you help me?" "Yes. But I need to be honest with you about what this will entail. It's going to be a fight. Your son is going to claim you're incompetent, confused, being manipulated. He's going to use the fact that you're in a care facility against you. He's going to paint himself as the caring son trying to protect his aging father. I know. We're going to need to prove your capacity. I'll need you to undergo a mental competency evaluation. Independent doctor, not affiliated with Oak Grove or your son. I'll do it. We're going to need to gather every piece of financial documentation, bank statements, property records, tax returns, anything showing what you own and what's been taken. I'm already working on that. She smiled. Good. You're already thinking like a plaintiff. That helps. What's the plan? She opened a folder, pulled out a legal pad, drew a simple diagram. Step 1, revoke the power of attorney. Immediately. We file a formal revocation with the court and send copies to every financial institution, medical facility, and relevant party. That cuts off David's legal authority to act on your behalf. Can we do that? Absolutely. You granted the power of attorney. You can revoke it, as long as you're mentally competent, which we'll prove. What's step 2? Step 2, secure your assets. We remove David from any accounts he has access to. We change passwords. We put alerts on your credit. We make sure he can't transfer, sell, or encumber your property. The house. Yes? The house is the big one. He's living there, but he doesn't own it. That's trespassing. But evicting your own son, that's complicated, emotionally and legally. I don't care about complicated. It's my house. I believe you, but here's where it gets tricky. In this state, if someone has been living in a property for more than 30 days, even without a lease, they're considered tenants. You can't just change the locks. You have to go through formal eviction proceedings. How long does that take? Normally, 30 to 60 days. But given the circumstances, the fact that he fraudulently obtained occupancy, we might be able to expedite. I can file for emergency possession based on elder abuse. Do it. Step 3, restore your autonomy. We get you out of Oak Grove. We prove that you don't need assisted living, that you were placed there under false pretenses. We establish that you have the right to live where you choose. Where would I go? David's in my house. She paused, looked at me carefully. Paul, I'm going to tell you something personal, something I don't usually share with clients, but I think you need to hear it. I waited. My mother, she's 78. 3 years ago, my brother tried to do this exact same thing to her, tried to take over her finances, tried to put her in a facility, tried to convince everyone she was losing it. Oh, also he could get her house, her savings, everything she'd worked for. What happened? I fought him in court. It took 8 months. It destroyed my relationship with my brother. But my mother got her life back. She's living independently now, in her own home, on her own terms. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm not. It's why I do this work. It's why I became an elder law attorney, because I saw how many predators out there target their own parents, how the system is set up to assume old people are incompetent, how hard it is to fight back. She leaned forward. Paul, I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be hard. It's going to be expensive. It's going to hurt. You're going to lose your son, probably permanently. He's not going to suddenly see the light and apologize. He's going to fight dirty. He's going to say terrible things about you. He's going to try to turn your grandchildren against you. I know. But if you want to fight, I'll fight with you every step of the way. I looked at this woman, this stranger who understood, who'd been through it, who knew what it cost. What do I need to do? She smiled, pulled out a stack of forms. First, we document everything. I need you to write down a timeline. Every event, every conversation, every transaction, dates, times, witnesses, everything you can remember. I can do that. Second, we set up the competency evaluation. I'll schedule it for this week. The doctor I use is thorough but fair. He'll do cognitive tests, memory tests, decision-making assessments. Be yourself, be honest. Don't try to perform or prove anything, just be who you are. Okay? Third, we file the revocation of power of attorney. I'll prepare the documents today. You'll need to sign them in front of a notary. My assistant is a notary. We can do it before you leave. Let's do it. And Paul, you're going to need a place to stay. Once we revoke the POA, once we start this fight, David might try to block you from returning to Oak Grove. He might claim you're non-compliant, that you're refusing care, that you're a danger to yourself. Where would I go? She hesitated. Then, I have a small apartment above my office. I use it for storage mostly. It's furnished. Nothing fancy, but it's private. It's safe. You could stay there temporarily until we get this sorted out. I stared at her. You'd do that? I know this might seem irregular. I've offered this arrangement to 3 clients before, all elder abuse cases where they needed a safe place during litigation. I charge fair market rent. Everything is documented properly with a lease agreement. It's completely above board. The state bar reviewed my practice after my brother complained, and they found no ethical issues. It's temporary, just until you're stable and have other options. I can't afford. We'll work out the finances. You have your savings account. Once we secure that, you'll have funds. Right now, let's focus on getting you free. I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. Thank you, I said. My voice cracked. Thank you. She handed me a tissue. Didn't make a big deal of it. Let's get to work. We spent the next 3 hours in her office. I wrote out the timeline, every detail I could remember. Margaret asked questions, clarifying, probing, making sure we had everything. When he had you sign the papers at the rehab center, was there a witness? A nurse. I don't remember her name. We'll get the rehab center records, find out who was on duty, get her statement. What if she says I seemed competent? Then we ask if she explained what the papers were, if she disclosed that it was a power of attorney giving your son control over your life, if she mentioned that you'd be placed in a facility, if she gave you time to read the documents, if you had your own legal representation. I didn't. Exactly, that's undue influence. Lack of informed consent. She went through every transaction from the checking account, made a spreadsheet. $15,000 in 3 weeks. What did he say he was using this money for? He didn't. He never asked. Just took it. So no legitimate expenses. No bills he paid on your behalf. No healthcare costs. No property maintenance. Nothing. That's theft. Clear. Documented. We have him. The competency evaluation was scheduled for Wednesday. Margaret's doctor, Dr. Harrison. He specialized in geriatric mental health assessments. The revocation of power of attorney was drafted. I read it 3 times. Simple language, clear. I, Paul James Mitchell, being of sound mind and body, do hereby revoke any and all powers of attorney previously granted to David Robert Mitchell. Effective immediately, David Robert Mitchell has no authority to act on my behalf in any capacity, financial, medical, or otherwise. I signed it. Margaret's assistant notarized it. We'll file this with the court tomorrow, Margaret said, and we'll send certified copies to your bank, Oak Grove, the rehab center, your insurance company, everyone. When will David find out? The bank has to process the revocation through their legal department. That typically takes 24 to 48 hours, but I'm going to request they expedite it as an emergency elder abuse case. So probably by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. He's going to be furious. Yes, he is, which is why I want you out of Oak Grove before he gets that notice. If he finds out you're revoking the POA while you're still in a facility he has influence over, he could cause problems. I'll pack tonight. Good. The apartment is ready. I'll give you the keys now. Move in tomorrow before the notices go out. She handed me a set of keys. Wrote down the address. It's not much, she said, but it's yours. We discussed payment. Her retainer was $5,000. I didn't have access to my checking account. David had blocked that, but I had my savings account. I'd need to go to the bank, show ID, make a withdrawal. Margaret offered to drive me to the bank the next day after I moved into the apartment. We'd withdraw enough for her retainer, enough for my expenses for a few months, enough for the apartment rent. What about Oak Grove? Don't I owe them money? David signed the contract. David paid the deposit using your power of attorney, which we're now revoking. Technically, any contracts he signed on your behalf after the undue influence are voidable, but I'll contact them, explain the situation, see if we can negotiate. They may waive the fees once they understand this was elder abuse. Thank you. Stop thanking me. I'm your attorney. This is my job. But it was more than a job. I could see it in her eyes. She cared, really cared. The van picked me up at 5:30, drove me back to Oak Grove. I had the paperwork in a folder, the keys to the apartment in my pocket. Tomorrow I'd be free. That night, I packed my 2 suitcases. Didn't have much, clothes, medication, the few photos I'd brought, the timeline I'd written for Margaret, the financial documents Howard had mailed, which had arrived that afternoon. I looked around that tiny room one last time. Room 147, this prison I'd been trapped in for over a week. I wasn't going to miss it. Tuesday morning, I woke up before the breakfast bell. Got dressed, made my bed, force of habit. I went to Patricia's office. She wasn't there yet. It was only 6:30. I left a note. Patricia, thank you for your kindness during my stay. I've decided to seek alternative living arrangements. I'm moving out today. Please send any final bills to my attorney, Margaret Chen. I left Margaret's contact information. Simple, clean, no drama. I wheeled my suitcases to the front lobby. The night shift nurse was at the desk. Mr. Mitchell, where are you going? I'm leaving. Does David know? David doesn't need to know. But you can't just leave. We need to process your discharge. I'm not under arrest. I'm not under guardianship. I'm a voluntary resident checking out. If you need paperwork, send it to my attorney. I kept walking, out the front doors, into the parking lot. Patricia came rushing out behind me. Mr. Mitchell, wait. David is on his way. He'll be here in 30 minutes. Please just wait and talk to him. No, I said, I'm done waiting. Margaret was waiting, her car parked in the visitor spot. She saw me and got out. You're really doing this, she said. I really am. She helped me load my suitcases into her trunk. We drove away from Oak Grove. Patricia was on her phone, probably calling David. I watched the facility disappear in the side mirror. Good riddance. The apartment was above her office. Separate entrance, stairs, which my hip didn't love, but I managed. Margaret helped with my bags. She unlocked the door. It was small, studio apartment, kitchenette in one corner, bed in another, small bathroom. But it was clean. It had windows with actual views, trees, sky, not a parking lot. It was perfect. Make yourself at home, Margaret said. There's coffee in the cupboard, some basic groceries in the fridge. My assistant stocked it yesterday. I'll pay you back? Sure, later. Right now, let's get to the bank. We drove to my bank. I walked in with my driver's license and my savings account number, asked to speak with a manager. The manager, a middle-aged woman named Susan, took me to her office. Mr. Mitchell, what can I help you with? I need to withdraw $20,000 from my savings account. She typed on her computer. I can process that. It'll take a few minutes to get that amount of cash together. Can I ask what it's for? For security purposes. Legal fees, personal expenses, rent. Of course. She typed some more and then paused. I see there's a note on your account. It says David Mitchell has power of attorney. Not anymore. That power of attorney has been revoked. Here's the documentation. Margaret handed her the revocation papers, the notarized copy. Susan read them carefully. I'll need to verify this with our legal department. Give me about an hour. We waited in her office, making small talk, Margaret checking her phone, me just sitting there, trying not to panic. Finally, Susan came back. The legal department has confirmed the revocation is valid. We've updated your account. David Mitchell no longer has any access. We're also issuing you a new debit card with a new number just to be safe. It should arrive by mail in 5 to 7 business days. Thank you. She came back 10 minutes later with an envelope, $20,000 in cash, counted it in front of me. I signed the withdrawal slip. Margaret took $5,000 for her retainer. I kept $15,000 for living expenses and rent. We drove back to the apartment. I hid the money in different places. Old habit from years of traveling. Never keep all your cash in one spot. The bank will notify David that his access has been revoked, Margaret said. Probably by tomorrow or Thursday. That's when things are going to get interesting. I'm ready. Are you? She looked at me seriously. Paul, once he gets that notice, once he realizes you've lawyered up and you're fighting back, he's going to escalate. He's going to call you, harass you, maybe even show up here. You need to be prepared for that. What should I do? Don't engage. Don't answer his calls. Don't respond to his messages. Everything goes through me now. That's what lawyers are for. We're the buffer. What if he shows up? Call the police. You've revoked his authority. He has no right to harass you. If he threatens you, that's criminal. She left me her personal cell number. Told me to call anytime, day or night, if I needed anything. After she left, I sat in that little apartment, my temporary home. I made coffee. Real coffee. From a real coffee maker. Not the watered-down institutional garbage from Oak Grove. I sat by the window, watched the street below, people going about their lives, free, independent. I was free, too, for the first time in weeks. My phone rang around 3 p.m. David's number. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again 5 minutes later. Again. I didn't answer. Then the texts started. Dad, call me now. What the hell did you do? The bank called me. They said you revoked the POA. Are you insane? You can't handle your own finances. You're going to get scammed. You're going to lose everything. Call me back. We need to talk about this. Dad, please. I'm trying to help you. You're making a huge mistake. I didn't respond to any of them. Around 5 p.m., someone knocked on the apartment door. I looked through the peephole. David. Standing there, red-faced, angry. He knocked again, harder. Dad, I know you're in there. Open the door. I stepped back, didn't say anything. Dad, this is ridiculous. You can't just disappear. People are worried about you. More knocking. Fine, don't answer, but you're making a huge mistake. You're going to regret this. He left. I heard his footsteps on the stairs, his car starting in the parking lot. I called Margaret. He showed up at the apartment. Did you let him in? No. Good. Did he threaten you? No. Just demanded I talk to him. That's harassment. Document it. Write down the time, what he said, everything. We'll file for a restraining order if he keeps it up. That night, I lay in that unfamiliar bed in that small apartment. I was free. I was safe. But the fight had just begun. I thought about Tom Hendricks back at Oak Grove. Trapped like I'd been. $50,000 stolen from him, no way out. Tomorrow, I'd give Margaret his information. See if she could help him too, or at least point him towards someone who could, because now I knew something Tom didn't know yet. You could fight back, and sometimes you could win. David didn't waste time. If I'd cut off his access to my money, he was going to fight back the only way he knew how. With lies. Wednesday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls. Not from David this time. From other people, my cousin Helen, my old neighbor Frank, 3 people from my church, 2 former coworkers, even my dentist. I called Helen back first. She was the oldest. Sarah's cousin technically, but we'd stayed close after Sarah died. Paul, honey, what's going on? David called me last night. He's very worried about you. I'm fine. Helen. He said you left the care facility, that you're refusing treatment, that some lawyer convinced you to cut off your family. There it was, the narrative he was building, the confused old man being manipulated. Helen, that's not what happened. He said you're not thinking clearly, that the hip surgery and the medications affected your judgment. He's just trying to help you, Paul. Did he tell you he stole $15,000 from my checking account? Silence. Did he tell you he moved into my house without asking? That he threw away my belongings like garbage? That he tricked me into signing papers while I was drugged? Paul, he said you'd say things like this. He said the confusion makes you paranoid, makes you think people are against you. And there it was. He'd inoculated them, Told them in advance that I'd accuse him of terrible things, framed it as symptoms of my decline. Helen, I'm not confused. I'm not paranoid. I'm protecting myself from my own son who decided my life was worth less than my bank account. Paul, I have to go. I hung up. I couldn't do this. Couldn't explain myself to everyone. Couldn't defend my sanity to people who'd already decided I was losing it. Margaret had warned me, but hearing it was different than knowing it. My phone buzzed. Facebook notification. I rarely used Facebook, but Sarah had set it up for me years ago so I could see photos of the grandkids. I opened it. David had posted, "Please keep my father in your prayers. He's going through a difficult time with his health and has become confused and distrustful. He's left his care facility against medical advice and is being influenced by people who don't have his best interests at heart. If anyone sees him or hears from him, please contact me immediately. We just want to make sure he's safe." The comments were already rolling in. "Praying for you and your dad. So sorry you're going through this. Elder care is so hard. My mom went through something similar. The confusion and paranoia are heartbreaking. You're such a good son for caring for him." I felt sick, physically sick. He'd painted himself as the hero, the devoted son, and me as the tragic figure, the declining father who couldn't see that his own family was trying to help. I screenshot the post, sent it to Margaret. She called me 5 minutes later. "Don't respond, don't engage, don't defend yourself on social media. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Let them think whatever they want. We're not fighting a PR battle. We're fighting a legal battle. And in court, we have evidence, documentation, facts. That's what matters." It doesn't feel like what matters. I know, but trust me, the court doesn't care about Facebook posts. The court cares about bank records and property deeds and signed documents. We have all of that on our side. When's the competency evaluation? Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Dr. Harrison's office. I'll pick you up at 9:30. Okay. Paul, listen to me. You're doing great. You left the facility. You secured your assets. You got an attorney. You documented everything. You're 3 steps ahead of where most people are when they come to me. Don't let his social media games get in your head. I'll try, but it was hard. God, it was hard. That night, Jennifer called. I almost didn't answer, but some part of me hoped maybe she'd be reasonable. Maybe she'd see what David was doing was wrong. "Paul," her voice was cold. No pretense of sweetness now. "You need to stop this." "Stop what?" "This legal nonsense, this drama. You're embarrassing David. You're embarrassing our family." "I'm embarrassing you?" "Yes, everyone is talking. Everyone knows you're accusing David of stealing, of abuse. It's humiliating, and it's not true. David has done nothing but try to help you. He stole $15,000 from my checking account. That money went to Oak Grove, to your care, to moving expenses, to things you needed. I never authorized those expenses. You signed the power of attorney. I was drugged. I was tricked. You're being ridiculous and selfish. We have kids, Paul, kids who need stability. Marcus is asking why Grandpa hates Daddy. Emma cried herself to sleep last night. Is this what you want? To hurt your grandchildren? That hit me hard. The grandkids, Marcus with his dinosaurs, Emma with her construction trucks. I don't want to hurt them. Then stop this, drop the lawyer, come back to Oak Grove. Let David handle your finances like he's been doing. We can all move on. And my house? We need that house, Paul. Our apartment is too small. The kids are getting older. They need their own rooms. You're not using all that space. It makes sense for us to live there. It's my house. It's 4 bedrooms. You're 1 person. It's wasteful. There was that word again, wasteful. Like my life, my space, my existence was wasteful unless it served them. No. I said no. No. I'm not dropping the lawyer. I'm not going back to Oak Grove. I'm not giving you my house. You want to tell Marcus why Grandpa hates Daddy. Tell him Daddy stole from Grandpa. Tell him Daddy chose money over family. You're unbelievable. You're throwing away your relationship with your son, With your grandchildren, for what? For pride? For a house you can't even maintain? For my dignity? For my life? For everything I spent 72 years building that your husband decided to throw away? Fine, then live with that choice. But don't expect us to be there when you realize what a mistake this was. Don't expect Marcus and Emma to know you. Don't expect invitations to birthdays or holidays. You're choosing to be alone. I'd rather be alone with my self-respect than surrounded by people who see me as a wallet. She hung up. I sat there in the dark apartment, shaking. The grandkids, they were using the grandkids as weapons, as leverage. Margaret was right. He was going to fight dirty. Thursday morning, Margaret picked me up at 9:30. We drove to Dr. Harrison's office, a small practice in a medical building. Calm, quiet. Dr. Harrison was younger than I expected, maybe mid-40s, glasses, kind face. He shook my hand. "Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming. Please have a seat." Margaret sat in the waiting room. This was just me and the doctor. "I understand you're here for a mental competency evaluation," he said. Miss Chen explained the situation. "I want you to know this isn't a test you can pass or fail. It's simply an assessment of your cognitive function, your decision-making capacity, and your ability to manage your own affairs." "I understand. We'll do some memory tests, some problem-solving exercises. I'll ask you questions about your life, your finances, your medical history. Just answer honestly. Take your time. There's no rush." He started with basic questions. "What's your full name? Where were you born? What year is it? Who's the president?" Easy stuff. Then memory tests. He read me a list of words, asked me to repeat them. Then we talked about other things for 5 minutes. Then he asked me to recall the words. I got most of them. Missed 2. He said that was normal. Math problems. If you have $100 and you spend 37, how much is left? Simple, more complex. If your property tax is $3,000 a year and you pay quarterly, how much is each payment? Still simple. Then situational judgment. Your son asked to borrow money for a business investment. What questions would you ask before deciding? I told him I'd ask for a business plan, financial projections, proof of his contribution, terms of repayment, collateral. He took notes. "Tell me about your current living situation," I told him. About the house, about David moving in, about Oak Grove, about the apartment. "Why did you leave Oak Grove?" "Because I was placed there against my will. Because I'm capable of living independently. Because I have a right to choose where I live." "Do you feel you're capable of managing your own finances?" "Yes. I've been managing my finances for 50 years. I've owned property, managed investments, filed my own taxes. I understand money. I understand contracts. I understand what my son did was theft. Your son claims you're confused, paranoid, that the medications and the surgery affected your judgment. My son is trying to justify stealing from me. If I'm confused and paranoid, then he's the caring son. If I'm competent and clear-minded, then he's a thief. Which story serves him better? Dr. Harrison smiled slightly, made a note. We talked for over an hour about Sarah, about my career, about my health, about my plans for the future. At the end, he leaned back. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to be direct with you. Based on this evaluation, I see no signs of cognitive impairment. Your memory is appropriate for your age. Your judgment is sound. Your understanding of your financial situation is clear and detailed. You're oriented to time, place, and person. You demonstrate an insight into your circumstances and the ability to make reasoned decisions about your care and your assets. So I'm not crazy. You're not crazy. You're a 72-year-old man with normal age-related changes to processing speed, but your cognitive capacity is intact. In my professional opinion, you have full capacity to make decisions about your health care, your finances, and your living arrangements." I felt something release in my chest, something I didn't even know I was holding. "Thank you. I'll have my report to Ms. Chen by tomorrow morning. She'll need it for your mediation next week." Margaret was smiling when I came out. How'd it go? He said, I'm competent. Of course you are. Now we prove it in court. Over the next 2 weeks, Margaret filed everything. First, a formal complaint with the state's Adult Protective Services, alleging financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. They opened an investigation into David. Second, a demand letter to David requesting return of the $15,000, demanding he vacate my property within 30 days. Third, a restraining order application based on his harassment, his showing up at the apartment, his campaign to isolate me from family and friends. The hearing for the restraining order was set for 2 weeks out. David got a lawyer. Of course he did. Some guy named Preston Marsh, expensive suit, slicked back hair, the kind of lawyer who defends guilty people and makes them look like victims. Marsh sent a response to Margaret's demand letter. It was full of legal jargon, but the basic message was, my client denies all allegations. Mr. Mitchell granted power of attorney voluntarily. All expenses were legitimate. Care costs. Mr. Mitchell is suffering from diminished capacity and is being manipulated by his attorney. Margaret wasn't impressed. Standard defense. Deny everything. Attack the victim's credibility. We expected this. What now? Now we go to mediation, court-ordered. Before they'll hear the restraining order petition, they want us to attempt to resolve this. Mediation with David? With David and his lawyer, and me, and a neutral mediator, we sit in a room. We negotiate. I don't want to negotiate with him. I know, but it's required, and honestly, it might work in our favor, because in mediation, they're going to ask him to explain the $15,000. They're going to ask him about the power of attorney. They're going to ask him why he moved into your house without permission. And he's going to have to answer under oath. When? Next Wednesday, 10 a.m., County Courthouse. I didn't sleep the night before. Kept running through what he'd say, how I'd respond. Margaret told me not to rehearse. Just be honest. Be myself. Wednesday morning, Margaret and I arrived at the courthouse at 9:30. Went through security, up to the third floor mediation services. David was already there, with his lawyer. He looked smaller somehow, less confident. He wouldn't look at me. The mediator was a woman. Late 50s, professional, no nonsense. Her name was Barbara Wright. Good morning, everyone. I'm Barbara Wright, your court-appointed mediator. We're here to discuss the dispute between Paul Mitchell and David Mitchell regarding allegations of financial exploitation, improper use of power of attorney, and property access. My role is to facilitate communication and hopefully reach an agreement. Everything said in this room is confidential unless you both agree otherwise. Understood? We all nodded. Good. Let's start with Mr. Mitchell. Paul, can you explain your position? I looked at David. He was staring at the table. My son took advantage of me when I was vulnerable. He had me sign papers I didn't understand while I was medicated after surgery. He used those papers to take control of my finances, move into my house, and place me in a care facility against my will. He withdrew $15,000 from my account without authorization. He blocked my access to my own money. He tried to erase me from my own life. Barbara turned to David. Mr. Mitchell, David, your response? David's lawyer spoke first. My client denies these allegations. Mr. Paul Mitchell voluntarily granted power of attorney. All financial transactions were legitimate expenses related to his care and living arrangements. My client was acting in his father's best interest. I'm asking David to speak, Barbara said. David? David finally looked up, looked at me, and I saw something in his eyes. Not remorse, not guilt, anger. I was trying to help him. He fell. He broke his hip. He couldn't take care of himself anymore. Jennifer and I were driving over there every day, making sure he ate, making sure he took his medications, making sure he didn't fall again. It was exhausting. We have our own lives, our own kids. We couldn't keep doing it. So you moved him into a facility. So we found him a safe place where he'd have professional care, 24/7, nurses, activities, meals, everything he needed. Did you ask him if he wanted to go there? David hesitated. He wasn't thinking clearly. He was medicated, depressed. He didn't know what he wanted. But you decided for him. Someone had to, Margaret interjected. Your Honor, excuse me, Miss Wright, I'd like to point out that Mr. Mitchell had a medical alert system. When he fell, emergency services arrived within 20 minutes. He was being responsible for his own safety. He didn't need his son to take over his entire life. Barbara nodded. Noted. David, let's talk about the house. Why did you move into his house? It was sitting empty. We needed more space. It made sense. Did you ask his permission? He had power of attorney paperwork. It was legal. Legal and ethical aren't always the same thing, Barbara said. What about the $15,000? David's lawyer jumped in. Those were legitimate expenses. Oak Grove required a deposit, moving costs, medical equipment. I'd like to see receipts for those expenses, Margaret said. She pulled out a folder. Because I have Mr. Mitchell's bank statements, and the withdrawals were all ATM cash withdrawals. No checks, no wire transfers, just cash. $15,000 in cash over 3 weeks. David's face went red. I needed cash for various expenses. What expenses? Barbara asked. The Oak Grove deposit was $8,000. First and last month, moving truck rental, storage unit fees. Some went to bills, our bills, because we were spending so much time taking care of him, we were falling behind. Jennifer's car payment. So some of the money went to your personal expenses? Barbara said. Temporary. We were going to pay him back. From his own money? Margaret said. That's not how restitution works. This is ridiculous, David said. I'm his son. I'm trying to help him. And now he's accusing me of stealing, of abuse. I've done nothing but sacrifice for him. You sacrificed, I said. My voice came out quiet, controlled. You drove over to check on me a few times. You made sure I had groceries. You know who actually sacrificed? Me, for you, for 38 years. David looked at me. Dad, I worked 60-hour weeks so you could have a good childhood, so you could go to college, so you could start your business. I gave you $10,000 when you got married, $20,000 when you wanted to buy into that franchise. I co-signed your first mortgage. I helped you over and over, and the first time I needed help, the first time I was vulnerable, you saw an opportunity not to care for me, to take from me. That's not true? Then where's the $15,000, David? Show me the receipts. Show me what you spent it on that was for my benefit. Silence. David's lawyer whispered something to him. David shook his head. We're done here, David said. I'm not going to sit here and be accused by my own father. He stood up. His lawyer put a hand on his arm. Sit down, Barbara said. We're not done. Yes, we are. He clearly doesn't want my help, doesn't trust me. Fine. He can manage on his own. See how that works out for him. David, I said, I gave you everything I had. And the one thing I asked for in return was respect. Basic human respect. To be consulted about my own life. To have a choice. You couldn't even give me that. Because you would have said no. You would have refused to leave that house even though it's too big for you. Even though you can't maintain it. Even though it makes no sense. It's my house, David. It's my choice. And that's the problem. You're selfish. You always have been. Everything has to be your way. You couldn't even let Mom get treatment for her cancer because you were afraid of losing control. The room went silent. That was a low blow, the lowest. Sarah's cancer had been stage 4 by the time they found it. There was no treatment, just pain management. We'd both agreed to hospice care at home. She died the way she wanted to, peacefully, in her own bed. You don't get to rewrite that story, I said. My voice was shaking. You don't get to make your theft about your mother's death. I'm not. Yes, you are. You're justifying what you did by pretending I'm this controlling, selfish old man who deserves to be robbed. But I'm not. I'm just a father who expected his son to have the decency to ask before taking everything. David grabbed his briefcase. I'm leaving. His lawyer tried to stop him. David, if you walk out of this mediation, the judge is going to... I don't care. Let him have his house. Let him drain his savings on lawyers. Let him die alone. I'm done. He walked out, slammed the door. Barbara looked at me. Mr. Mitchell, I'm sorry. I couldn't speak, just nodded. Margaret put her hand on my arm. We'll file for the restraining order, and we'll move forward with the eviction. He's not coming back, is he? I said. Not ever. Probably not. I'd known that, but hearing it, seeing him walk away, it still hurt. The restraining order was granted the following week. David was ordered to stay at least 500 feet away from me. No contact, no harassment. The eviction process took longer, 6 weeks. Margaret filed the paperwork. David didn't contest it, just ignored it. His lawyer withdrew from the case. Marsh charged a $10,000 retainer. David couldn't pay it after spending the $15,000. Without a lawyer and without defense, the case moved quickly. The court ruled in my favor. David had 30 days to vacate the property. He didn't leave voluntarily. On the last day, I had to hire a sheriff's deputy to oversee the eviction, to make sure it was done legally. Margaret drove me to the house. I hadn't been back since the day I discovered he'd taken over. Almost 3 months ago now, felt like years. The sheriff's deputy was already there. David's car was in the driveway. He was loading boxes into a U-Haul. Jennifer was there too. The kids, Marcus and Emma, they looked confused, scared. I stayed in the car, watched. David saw us, started walking over. The deputy stepped between us. Sir, you need to maintain distance. I just want to talk to my father. The restraining order? 5 minutes, please? The deputy looked at me. I nodded, rolled down the window. David walked closer, stopped about 10 feet away. Dad, David, you're really doing this. You're really kicking us out. You moved in without asking. You leave without arguing. Where are we supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. He looked at me, really looked at me. For the first time in months, I saw something other than entitlement in his eyes. I saw fear. I'm sorry, he said. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought you needed help. And then it spiraled. The expenses, the pressure, Jennifer wanting the house. I convinced myself you'd be fine at Oak Grove, that you'd adjust, that you wouldn't even care. But I did care. I know. I see that now, and I'm sorry. Do you still have the $15,000? He looked away. No. Most of it went to Oak Grove. $8,000 for the deposit. Some went to the moving truck, storage unit. The rest, living expenses, bills, Jennifer's car payment. It's gone. I don't have it. Then you'll pay me back $500 a month until it's paid off. $500? Dad, I don't have that kind of money. Then you'll find it, or I press charges for theft and file a civil suit. Adult Protective Services is already investigating you. You'll have a record. Good luck getting any kind of financial license or professional credential with elder abuse on your record. Those are your options. He nodded, defeated. Okay, I'll pay you back. The payments go through Margaret, not to me directly. You're not to contact me ever. That's part of the restraining order. And David? Yeah? Don't contact me, don't show up, don't send the kids as messengers. If you want to pay your debt and move on with your life, I won't stop you. But we're not family anymore. You made that choice. Dad, come on. Marcus and Emma, they love you and they don't know me. Not anymore. You made sure of that. He didn't argue, just turned and walked back to the U-Haul. Jennifer was standing by the truck. She looked at me, cold, hard. I hope you're happy, Paul. She called out. I didn't respond. Wasn't worth it. An hour later, they were gone. The house was empty. Bill had already moved out 2 weeks earlier. His wife took him back. I walked through it, room by room. It was a mess. Furniture moved. Walls scuffed. My things still in boxes in the guest room, but it was mine again. Margaret helped me move some of the boxes back inside. We worked in silence mostly, just the sound of cardboard and footsteps. In one of the boxes, I found my manila folder. My financial documents, still there, wrinkled but intact. In the master bedroom, I found one of Sarah's photo albums. David had left it in a box. I opened it. Pictures of him as a baby, a toddler, a teenager. Sarah's handwriting in the margins. David's first day of school. David's baseball game. David and Dad fishing. I closed it, put it back in the box. Some memories aren't worth keeping. I didn't move back into the house right away. Too big, too empty, too full of ghosts. Instead, I hired a cleaning crew, got rid of Bill's stuff, his man cave equipment, repainted, fixed the scuffs and the stains, made it mine again. I sold some of the furniture. Too many memories, bought new pieces, simpler, more my style. I kept the apartment above Margaret's office, too, paid her rent. Some nights I stayed there when the house felt too big. Margaret and I became friends, real friends, not just lawyer and client. We'd have dinner once a week. She'd tell me about her cases. I'd tell her about my progress on the house. "You should rent it out," she said one night. "Keep the apartment, rent the house, get some income from it. Maybe, or maybe I'll just sell it. Start fresh somewhere smaller. You don't have to decide now. I know." We were sitting in her office after hours, Chinese takeout on her desk. She'd opened a bottle of wine. We were celebrating. The restraining order had been made permanent. David's first payment had come through, $500. Money order mailed to Margaret's office, just like we'd agreed. The APS investigation had concluded, too. They'd found evidence of financial exploitation. David was placed on the state registry. No criminal charges filed, but a permanent mark. Any future employer, any licensing board, any background check would see it. "How do you feel?" she asked, "now that it's all done?" Tired, relieved, sad. Sad? I lost my son. You lost someone who chose money over you. That's not the same as losing a son. It feels the same. She was quiet for a moment, then, "My brother, after we won my mother's case, he tried to reconcile, sent letters, emails, wanted to apologize. Did you forgive him?" "No, because the apology wasn't real. It was about him feeling better, not about making things right. He never paid back the money, never admitted what he'd done was wrong, just wanted to be forgiven so he could move on without guilt." "Do you regret it, not forgiving him?" "No, because forgiveness without change is just enabling. If he'd actually changed, actually shown remorse, actually made restitution, maybe, but he didn't. So, no." "You think David will change?" "I think David will pay you back because he's afraid of legal consequences. But change his character? Probably not. Leopards and spots, you know?" I nodded. She was right. But it still hurt. I thought about Tom Hendricks. I'd given Margaret his information. She'd reached out. Last I heard, Tom was considering filing his own case. It wasn't too late for him either. 3 months after the eviction, I made a decision. I sold the house. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. By then, it was just a building. The memories that mattered, I carried with me. The ones that hurt, I'd let go. I listed it in February. It sold in 3 weeks. Good market. The buyers were a young couple with a baby on the way. Reminded me of Sarah and me 40 years ago. That made it easier to let go. I bought a small condo, 2 bedrooms, modern kitchen, view of a park, close to Margaret's office, close to restaurants and shops and the library. I could walk everywhere. Didn't need a car most days. Took the bus when I did. My hip was healing, still had physical therapy twice a week, but I was off the cane by spring. I used some of the money from the house sale to set up education trusts for Marcus and Emma. For their college, they'd get access at 18. Margaret included a letter with the trust documents explaining what happened, letting them decide for themselves who to believe. That's all I could do. The rest of the money I invested lived off the interest and my Social Security. I had enough, more than enough. I started volunteering at the library, teaching computer skills to seniors, helping them set up email accounts, showing them how to video chat with grandkids, how to protect themselves from scams. I became an advocate. Margaret recruited me. I'd speak at workshops, tell my story, warn other elderly people about the signs of financial abuse, about the importance of having advocates, about not being ashamed to fight back. I met others like me, people who'd been exploited by family members, adult children, siblings, even grandchildren. We formed a sort of informal support group, swapping stories, sharing resources, just being there for each other. And slowly, quietly, I built a new life. Margaret and I stayed close, closer than friends. We'd have dinners, go to movies, take walks in the park. We were both in that stage of life where companionship mattered more than romance. We're just having someone to share a meal with, to talk to sit in comfortable silence with. That was enough. One evening, we were sitting on my condo balcony, drinking tea, watching the sunset. You know what I realized? I said, what? I spent 50 years building a life for other people, for Sarah, for David, trying to be a good husband, a good father, a good provider. And it was good. Most of it was good, but I forgot to build something for myself. And now I'm building something just for me, and it feels selfish, but also right. She smiled. That's not selfish, that's self-preservation. Is there a difference? Yes. Selfish is taking at the expense of others. Self-preservation is protecting what's yours. You're allowed to do that, especially now. We sat in silence for a while. The sky turned orange, then pink, then purple. Thank you, I said. For what? For believing me. When everyone else thought I was confused or paranoid or bitter, you believed me. That's my job. It's more than a job. She reached over, took my hand. You're right, it is. We sat there, two people who'd been betrayed by family, who'd had to fight for their own dignity, who'd found each other in the aftermath. It wasn't the life I'd imagined, it wasn't the life I'd planned, but it was mine, and that made it good enough. 6 months after I sold the house, I got a letter, hand-delivered to my condo, forwarded from the old address. It was from Marcus, my grandson, now 10 years old. The envelope had dinosaur stickers on it, his handwriting on the front. I almost didn't open it, almost threw it away, but something stopped me. I opened it. Dear Grandpa, I miss you. Dad says you're mad at him, that you don't want to see us anymore. I don't understand what happened. But I remember you. I remember the puzzle you got me. I still have it. I finished it. It's a T-Rex. Mom says you chose to leave, that you wanted to be alone. But I don't think that's true. I think something happened, something bad. I saw Dad's Facebook post about you being confused, but then I saw some papers Mom left on the table, court papers, about money in the house. I'm not stupid. I know Dad did something wrong. I don't know what exactly, but I know you, and you were always nice to me. I hope you're okay. Love, Marcus. I read it 3 times, sat on my couch with that letter in my hands, and for the first time in months, I cried. Really cried. Not from anger, not from betrayal, from grief. For the relationship I'd lost, for the years I'd missed with my grandchildren, but also from hope, because Marcus remembered me and he'd reached out. Not because he wanted something, just because he missed his grandpa and because he'd seen the truth. I kept that letter, put it in a frame, hung it on my wall, and I wrote back. A short note told him I missed him too, that I was okay, that what happened between me and his father was complicated, but that it wasn't his fault, that I loved him and Emma, and that someday when he was older, if he wanted to know the whole truth, I'd tell him. But for now, all he needed to know was that Grandpa was safe and happy. I didn't expect a response. But 3 weeks later, I got another letter, another dinosaur sticker, another message. Thanks for writing back. Can you teach me about contracts when I'm older? Dad says you were really good at that stuff. I want to learn. Also, I told some kids at school about what you did, about standing up for yourself. They thought it was cool. One kid said his grandma is having problems with his uncle. I told him to tell his grandma to get a lawyer like you did. Was that okay? I smiled, wrote back, that was more than okay. That was perfect. And yes, I'd be honored to teach you about contracts anytime you're ready. Maybe that's all I could hope for. A fragile connection with a grandson who still thought his grandpa was worth knowing. A small promise of something that might grow back someday. And maybe, just maybe, my story was helping other people stand up for themselves too. It wasn't justice. It wasn't redemption. Wasn't even really a revenge, but it was something. And for now, that was enough. So that's my story, the story of how my son tried to take everything and how I took it all back. Was it worth it? The fight, the money, the lawyers, the permanent estrangement. Yeah, it was, because I learned something I wish I'd known earlier. Being a good father doesn't mean letting your child ruin you. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. Being family doesn't give someone the right to steal your life. I lost a son, maybe forever, but I gained something more important. I gained myself back, my autonomy, my dignity, my right to choose how I live and where I live and what happens to the things I spent a lifetime earning. And to everyone watching this who's going through something similar, who's being exploited or controlled or dismissed by someone who's supposed to love them, I want you to hear this. You are not confused. You are not paranoid. You are not ungrateful. You're being abused, and you have the right to fight back. Get a lawyer, document everything, protect your assets. Don't let guilt or family obligation keep you trapped. It's going to hurt. It's going to cost money. It's going to cost relationships, but your life is worth more than their comfort. Your dignity is worth more than their convenience, and your future is worth more than their greed. Fight back, take what's yours, and don't apologize for it, because in the end, the only person who's going to protect you is you. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Tell me in the comments below, and if you have your own story of family betrayal, of fighting back, of reclaiming your life, share it. You're not alone. None of us are. This is Ruthless Retribution. Real stories, real consequences, real justice. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story. And remember, being family doesn't give someone the right to take everything. Until next time, protect yourselves out there.